Hello, everybody out there, Christ the King members, Christ the King Church. My name is William Aldrich Dabney, being born in Jersey City, New Jersey on 12/28/1939. The difference in me being born in Jersey City, I was born in the house where everybody else was born in Margaret Haig Hospital, you know. So that's a big influence, especially when you're living over Woolworths 5 and 10 and Kruski's 5 and 10 until you're 13 years old. But being involved with Christ the King, I was a member, or my family was a member of Ocean Avenue Baptist Church. And I'm going back to the age of 12, 13. Then my mother took us over to Christ the King Catholic Church, which is right exactly across the street from Ocean Avenue Baptist Church. And that's when we became affiliated. Out of my family, there was 9 of us. I was the second oldest. My sister Joni was the first. And my brother Thomas was next to me. But I thank God for Christ the King. But I'm talking more than the building. I'm talking from the spirit aspect of Christ the King, right? When I grew up, where I lived in Greenville was known as the Hill. Downtown was known as just downtown, not like it is now. But if you lived downtown, you was in the poorer section. Up in the hill was Greenville, you was in the better section. But Christ the King was known as the church on the hill. And at that time, it had nuns who lived directly down the street from the church, and they were affiliated with coming around the community, getting us to become members of the church. You know, at that time, you know, I know the sisters, some of their names stuck with me. Sister Mativia Taub, Sister Bernard, Father O'Brien, Father John, Father Jack. You know, I'm just affiliated. Father Steve. But all those names just are part of my heart that I'm affiliated right now. You know, by being affiliated with Christ the King, so much good has happened to me. You know, and I'm going up in regards to finishing 29 school, finishing 14 school, which is up in the hill, then transferring to Ferris, which is downtown, because we had moved downtown to Bright Street. Not because we wanted to a higher place, we had to find a lower rent, because my mother couldn't afford, you know, the rent up on the hill. So with the affiliation of Christ the King, we go around Christ the King's nun's house and get cheese and beef. You know, it really supported us. But in the process of growing up, you go through a whole lot of things which cannot be spoken within the few minutes you're going to hear from me. But I'm just thankful to be, at this present time, a member of Christ the King, because what Christ the King has given me is not the building, but it's the spirits of God, of Jesus Christ, that I can walk with uptown, downtown, cross town, and in town, knowing that God is walking with me. You know, I thank God, because at that time, you don't know, you think you know what life's all about, but you're just beginning. Because at Christ the King, one of the most important things that happened to me was marrying my wife, who was a Baptist at that time, and she became a member of Christ the King. And I can still hear the song as we walk down the aisle that I wasn't married to Christ the King, but when she became a member of Christ the King, she became part of Christ the King, and I can still hear him say, Jesus, you know, song of Jesus, you know, build strength around me, right, you know, and God, you're so real. And that made it real for me. And the funny thing, I have to mention something about my wife, because we're talking about dates. Dates aren't really important, but in my life it was important because she entered the Air Force in 1955. In 1955, Rosa Parks sat down on the bus. In 1955, Martin Luther King started his protest. And, you know, so she was all part of that, even though she went in the Air Force and spent 4 years. And out of our relationship, we have two children, Roscoe and Gilly. His name is Guillermo, but that's it. So I just thank God for all the goodness that Christ had given me, and is still giving me at this period of time. You know, because spirit-wise, I feel like I'm still 13. You know, on the books it says I'm 81, right? So I'll go according to the Spirit. Now, whatever God has planned for me in these next few years or this next day, I can't go to a few years, otherwise I have to start counting backwards. And the Spirit would be, you know, keep God in my heart and keep God within all of us. Because when I go to Christ the King, you know, we get the sermon, but God is speaking to us, not as a group, but as individuals. And when we come walking outside, we're taking that spirit that God has given us to spread it among every one of us. I've been really, really impressed, not knowing that when people look at their curriculum, I wanted to go to college, and you look down the list that they've given you, you want to pick out a career. But in my life, God put his finger on my career. So at this time, I'd like to say goodbye, and in a short time,